Hi, my name's Kristen, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about the chakra system and how it can help you heal and align your life, and different ways, just the chakra system overall, like how it works and what it is, because a lot of people don't know exactly what it is and how it works. So let's get to it. The best way I can explain the chakra system would be this energy column. It's a column that goes from your crown to your base, your spine, your tailbone, and it has these 7 energy centers that when you first start working with them, it's important, at least for me in my practice, I worked from the bottom up, and I'm still on that journey, which is great because it's helping me move towards my higher self. So the 7 energy centers, chakra can be defined as a wheel. So it's an energy wheel disc. Some people view them as lotuses. I personally see them as lotuses. When I'm in meditation, they start as like these small balls of energy, and then they grow into these beautiful lotuses when I know they're like working properly, which it's taken me years of practicing meditation, yoga, Reiki to really get to that place, to be able to see them. And some days I struggle, like with any practice, like some days we struggle to show up to our mats, some days we struggle to sit and turn inward. It's a practice, and honoring where you are in your journey is important. So with that being said, these 7 energy centers are, they're not physical objects like any other part or system of our bodies. We have the endocrine system, the reproductive system, the respiratory system. We have all these other systems that have like a physical sense to them. The chakras don't. They are an energetic system, more with like the subtle bodies. They say there's 7 energy centers. Some people say there's more than 7, which I totally believe that. But for right now, we're just going to talk about the 7 main energy centers. So because they're not physical, what the chakras do is they embody energy, and they embody it so that it's able to expand out into the physical planes and the physical systems of the body. What I mean by that is, like when we practice breath work, when we practice our breathing, we're inhaling and we're taking in prana, we're taking in good energy. And on the exhale I feel when it comes to breathing techniques are more important, because the exhales are allowing your body to like get rid of the toxic stuff that we take in and remove blockages. So when we're breathing in and we're taking in that good prana, and then we're exhaling that toxic stuff, we're creating space in our bodies. So, and when we create space in our bodies, we're able to ascend and move forward in our life, which is beautiful. So when one of these 7 energy systems are blocked or like not working correctly, or they're not like in sync, they're not balanced, it can create blockages and like out of whack with the higher ones, like especially if one of the lower ones are. And there's different types of, I guess, blockages. There's different types of ways that the chakras can be affected negatively. Blockages, they could be overstimulated, they could be deficient, so they could be not working the right way. And the ultimate goal is to have the chakras spinning like clockwise, like the right way, and having that free flowing energy moving like up through the body. People talk about Kundalini awakening, and that's really part of this practice. Like for people that don't know much about Kundalini, like I'm just starting to learn and practice Kundalini yoga and meditation. So that's like they say like Kundalini is like the serpent in like below the root chakra that kind of like shoots itself up through the chakra system, and when that happens, it brings you this divine awakening and this divine experience, which is beautiful because we all want to reach that. Like I personally do. So these energy centers, it's important when we're meditating that we have the right posture, which is why we practice yoga, right? To get better posture or to reach that stillness. That's not one of the many reasons why. So having good posture is important because the chakras are like this energy column that goes like this. So it starts at the base and it rises up through the crown. And it's free flowing, so it rises back up and then it goes back down, which I'll get more into like that, what I mean by that later on in the video. And these centers have strong connection to our physical, emotional, and mental functions. So it's important to understand like what they are and how they work as a whole, so you can really work on balancing them and finding what areas you need to work on and move forward through. Like when things arise in your meditation practice that you feel a need to work on, having basic knowledge of these chakras will help you because it'll tell you like what you need to focus on. And you know, we do yoga, we meditate. I personally do Reiki. I'm a Reiki practitioner. I've gone recently to a good healer, really good healer. Her name's Angelique, and she helped me through a past life regression, which helped me work through blockages and like imbalances in my sacral and my solar plexus chakra. And that was based in childhood trauma that I worked through, which was amazing because now I'm able to sit here and make this video to help other people and share my knowledge. So things like that, like anything that will help you turn inwards to yourself and really acknowledge like where you are in your practice and work on like that darkness, that shadow work that everybody talks about. It's important. Doing that shadow work is important because it helps us bring awareness to the areas that we need to work on in our body. And when we have knowledge of the chakra system, we know and we develop these tools of what we can do to help heal them and have them working correctly so we can reach that state of consciousness, which is amazing. Each of the 7 energy centers have they have a location in the body. So the root chakra is the tailbone of the base of the spine, the reproductive area of the body. The sacral chakra is your lower abdomen. It's like your splenic area, like things like that. The solar plexus is like more like this area up here, your abdomen, your stomach. Your heart chakra is here in your heart. There's like a sub chakra in the heart too, which is your high heart chakra. That's like your higher self heart. That's the best way that I can explain it, that it was explained to me. And then your throat chakra, which is like your communication. Your third eye chakra between your brow here, your mind's eye, and the crown. The crown is the top of your head. This is like your ultimate consciousness area. So each of them have a location, and that location affects physical aspects of our body and emotional aspects of our body. So it's important when we're doing our meditation practice or when we're doing yoga that we're really like aware of our bodies. We talk about that all the time in yoga, becoming aware of the body and the breath and all of this good stuff. And it's all very important and it all correlates to each other. So body scanning. When I sit in meditation and I will do a body scan, I will sit and just bring awareness to like where I feel tension in my body, and then I send the breath there because that breath is the healing aspect. It's that good energy that we all need in our life to help raise our consciousness and have us work towards that awakening. And because these all have like different, every chakra has a different level of conscious awareness to it. The lower ones are more practical things like your survival, your emotions, your survival, your movement in life, like, and your physical movement, and your actions, like if you're struggling, perfect example, if you're struggling to put in action, like I for months was struggling to sit and meditate. I was struggling. I couldn't get there. I tried. I was trying so hard to like make the time to do it, and I was struggling in my lower chakras, and that correlates directly with that. Like I was having that sacral and that solar plexus imbalance, and that was really like affecting my root. It was even affecting my root chakra because I wasn't able to like get the motivation to like bring myself to my practice. And you know, it's bringing you back to those like survival things, like all this stuff that we need to survive in our lives. So those are like the lower ones, and then the lower ones are more practical things, as our higher ones are like our concepts in life, our thoughts, our dreams, our images, words, all of that, like how we think about things. And those are the higher chakras, and when we reach those levels, the higher chakras, it's really an experience. And I get like snippets of it here and there, recently more so because I've been practicing. I've had the time now to practice, so it's really great. And they have, each chakra has a psychological representation. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about that. Like the root chakra is survival. The sacral chakra is the sexuality. Your solar plexus is power. Your heart is love, of course. Your throat is communication. Your third eye is intuition, and your crown is consciousness. So that's the psychological representation of the chakras. And they also have elements and colors that correlate with them. I do have a chart here to help with this like visual. So the root is earth-based, and that color is red. The solar plexus is water-based, and it's orange. The sacral is water-based, and that's orange. The solar plexus is fire, and that one's yellow. And your heart is air, and that one's green. Our throat is sound, and that's blue. And the third eye is light, and that's indigo. And the crown is thought, and that one's violet. So, and I talked about where they were. I'll just go over it again really fast. The locations of the chakras. The root is the base of the spine. The sacral is the spleen, the lower abdomen. The solar plexus is your stomach. Heart is the heart area. Throat. Third eye is your brow, and your crown is the top of your head that like works with your central nervous system. So as we practice meditation and we're finding stillness in our bodies, and through breathing techniques, we're balancing these energies, because breath work is important. It's really important. So that breath work balances and clears out. So when we're breathing in, we're taking in that good energy, like I said before, and then on the exhale, we're releasing the toxins to create space so we can invite more good energy in. And our inhales will get longer as our exhales get longer. So it's really, I struggle with breath work a lot. Like syncing my breath and my movement is always something I struggle with. And I think about when I was in yoga teacher training, they would always talk about like how I wasn't always syncing my breath, and it's just like, I know I do it, and now that I have the awareness that I do it, I'm like working better and working more with my breath, and it's really helped me a lot. So the breath work pushes out blockages, and it's cleansing. So that's why it's important. So, and we're creating that space with the breath work. So the other thing also I want to talk about with the chakras is they're like energy currents. So we have that column, right? And then we have the 7 centers of the chakra. So the energy currents, I'd like to think about it when you first are starting your practice and you're awakening your chakras, you're moving up towards your spirit, your higher self. You're working towards that collective consciousness, that awakening that we all strive to have. And that one, when you think of it as an energy free flowing current, we think of it going up and then going back down because it's free flowing. It goes up and down. So the spiritual awakening moves us towards liberation, freedom, personal power. Like it's moving us up that journey to the self. And then the soul body, once we reach that top area, that soul body is the manifestation section of it. So the manifestation current is going downwards, down towards like the more denser chakras, like the root chakra and everything. So the spirit energy is going upwards as the soul body is moving downwards, and the downwards pull is like forming boundaries and forming individuality, and like that comes, like it comes and it flows and it comes and it goes, like it. So when they're aligned and that energy is free flowing, it's beautiful because we're really like we're seeing it, and we're seeing it like happening and play out right in front of us, which is amazing. So this book I was reading had a really great quote from it that talked about the soul body and the spirit, like in awakening the chakras and stuff. And it says the soul is expression of the spirit, and the spirit is universal expression of the soul. And that is like, that really is what it is. It's all interconnected. It's all interlaced, and it all works together. And when it works together, it's beautiful. So that's why it's really important, because when they connect, they enhance each other. And that is what I'm talking about, that free-flowing energetic current. So when one of those chakras are blocked in that energy current, that free-flowing energy current isn't free-flowing anymore, it causes us to be stagnant, and it causes us to retreat, and it stops that free flow of energy that helps us reach liberation. So that's why balancing and clearing out and cleansing the chakras is important. For liberation and ultimate consciousness. So blockages and imbalances can also be they can be expressed differently in the body in different ways, emotional, physical. Like we feel things like getting motivated and putting action in is a root chakra issue. So like finding the motivation to like sit and meditate, like that's bringing you back down. Like you have to work on that, like physical, like survival stuff, like the body, like we need to work on that. And even like to begin the healing process, like having the motivation to get like work and even start this whole journey is a process. And that's more like root chakra based things. So, and I'll go more into detail about the root chakra and like beginning and all of that stuff when I get to that chakra. So there's the one of not being able to put the action in, and then there's another way a blockage or an imbalance can come about is unable to receive information, unable to like express like receive, not express, but receive love. Like we're unable to feel loved, and that is a heart chakra thing. Like if we aren't able to receive that, or we feel like we can't receive that, that's a heart chakra blockage. So, and then that's an unbalanced thing. So the other one would be if we're struggling to express communication, express love, express thoughts, whatever it may be, that is another, like that will cause the chakra system to fall stagnant, and it will block the free flowing energy going up and down that keeps the whole system running, which is not good, which is why we practice yoga and meditation. Any of those examples are incomplete, it'll mean that one of your chakras are imbalanced. And it's important to recognize these blockages and like recognize and find out and understand them so we can work through them, because once we work through them and we're liberated from them, and we're one step closer and we're one step higher on the next level of healing that we need to be at. And that's a beautiful thing too. Like, we develop these tools once we can figure out what the tools are that we need to help heal. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about like unblocking the chakras and how we can address them in different levels, because they can be addressed. So one of the first levels is understanding the dynamic of that chakra. Like, that's why I wanted to make this video. So when I first started getting into energy work, I really had no idea about like chakras. I'm like, what is that? Like, I wouldn't even know. So I really wanted to talk about, that's why I wanted to make this, so I could talk about each chakra and kind of give you a basic understanding of how each one works. So when things arise in your life that cause you issues in your heart, like in your root, in your solar plexus, in your sacral, in your thoughts, in your mind, like you can sit and you have this knowledge now and you can become aware of it and work through it, because when we work through it, we're one step closer to that liberation, freedom. So understanding, the first one was understanding dynamic of the chakra and nature and the functioning of the system as a whole, like when it's balanced. So understanding like how the chakras are supposed to work when they're balanced is important, like that free-flowing energy. You want that free-flowing energy so you can move forward in your growth. The second one would be understanding the developmental stages of each chakra, because each chakra throughout your life from birth until adulthood have developmental stages, just like when you're a baby and you're like the root chakra, for example, is 0 to 12 months. That is when you're a baby. That's when your root chakra develops, because you are totally reliant on someone else for your survival. Like, that's all about your survival and your basic bones needs, like eating, drinking, sleeping. Like, that's, I don't know if that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, just ask any questions that you feel you need to ask, and I can explain them the best of my knowledge. So like, once you understand the developmental stages of each chakra, then you can understand more of like what correlates with traumas that have happened in your life, or abuse that affects the functions of that specific chakra, like, which totally makes sense, like thinking about how the developmental stages of each chakra and like what traumas you've experienced as a person and how they've affected your life and like how they affect you now. And when you work through them, like to really have that experience of acknowledging that trauma and working through it, and to watch that chakra like go back into balance is really amazing, because it just happened for me. And it, like, my sacral, my solar plexus, they're like better now, and it's just really amazing. So the third thing is applying exercise techniques, which is what I talked about earlier: yoga, meditation, Reiki, whatever works for you, whatever's going to help you turn inwards in your practice, which is important. And it's like applying those, like we all talk about in yoga, like applying the yogic path to our lives. And that's an important thing, because when we have these tools to apply these basic like things that we're learning and these new tools that we have, and we learn to apply them into our lives, it helps us cope and deal with these traumas and work through these issues that we have that throw the chakra system out of balance, which is important. And then the other thing is, the fourth one is balancing the overactive and the deficient chakras, like learning how to, learning the difference between an overactive chakra and a deficient chakra and a blocked chakra. So like balancing that, finding that balance there. And because not all of the blocks are the same, and that's important. So by the end of this chakra series, I really hope that you have like the basic knowledge of how the system works, and I hope my explanation of the overall system helped. If you have any questions, please comment below. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. And once we have like the basic understanding of how the system works, and we have that knowledge, and we're aware of like what issues in our life affect which chakra, and like these issues arise through our journey, we're able to deal with them and cope with them and work through them so we can reach our highest potential, our higher self. Sorry, I'm having trouble speaking right now. And we can work through those imbalances and expand. And that's what it's all about. This whole journey is about finding who we truly are deep in our heart and undoing all of that stuff that happened to us as children. So it's just a beautiful process, and I'm glad that I'm able to be here to help you along your journey. So thank you, and namaste.